Thank you. Commissioner Blank.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just going to have some questions first for the staff, because at times the issue in front of us really isn't the issue in front of us, and I'm afraid that this might be one of them. So I guess I'm kind of thinking we're talking about an oval park, but when I look at the bottom of page 2 on the staff report, it really talks about the staff disagrees and is concerned with the practice of amending the PMP through a CDP on a piecemeal process. And it goes on to say the port's vision for the Embarcadero has changed, individual projects have now been added, blah, blah, blah. And it sounds like we really want the city and the port to come back, and it's not about just the park. We want to come back and have a kind of collective of all these what feels like addendums into a revised master plan. Is that what we're really talking about here? Or is it the park?
Well, I think through review of this, we recognize that there's not only been a change to the park at the foot of Broadway, but there's also been other changes that have occurred in the North Embarcadero. And so it's quite possible that a park in this location might not be the best option. There may be an ability to look for a replacement park location, but that should all be done in the context of a port master plan amendment.
Right. So what staff is looking for is a revised port master plan.
Well, addressing all of the changes.
All of the changes, not just the park.
That this should be part of that future port master plan amendment that they are proposing.
So in reality, when we are talking about the oval park, if actually the city came up right now and said, you know what, you're absolutely right, we'll give you the oval park right there, would the staff be satisfied, or do we really want to revise the master plan?
Well, if the park can be provided there,
then are we done?
We would be satisfied, yes.
Okay. So, all right, I'm just trying to understand where we're going here. Is it the park, or is it the sum of? And again, I'm not making any judgment which way I'm thinking here. I'm just trying to understand how, as a commissioner, I could judge these comments in from both commissioners who were intimately involved. And I've read through it. It looks like so far I've dug up 12 master plan addendums and additions over the years, going all the way back to prehistory when Commissioner Kruger was a younger man. So I'm still kind of grappling with this. So let me go on with the park part, because I'm not a physics major, but when the applicant came up and tried to put that oval into a square, it didn't seem to fit by the things we've already approved. So maybe staff could help me understand when they talk about the building they don't own on the right, and when they talk about the project, which I think was Lane Field, which they said we approved on the left, that kind of cut off part of the oval. And I'm just trying to understand, how would staff propose that they give us that oval park?
I think, again, in our review of this proposal, it became more clear to us than it was in our review of the Lane Field proposal, for instance, and the cruise ship terminal port master plan amendment, that changes were being made that were affecting the ability to provide the oval park in the design and configuration that was shown in the port master plan.
Got it.
That was not fully disclosed to us, we believe, by the port in the review of those projects. And I think that's what you heard from some members of the public as well, that you have an element in the plan, and unless there's some specific proposal to change that element, you assume that that element is still being provided.
Got it. And so, but the commission, for example, specifically approved the Lane plan with that footprint. It's just possible that between staff and the city, no one went back and said, "Hey, we just took a big chunk out of that oval that we had planned." Is that, or do you believe there was some other agenda?
Well, no, I believe that the port, their representation was that a park of comparable and equivalent size could still be provided here at the foot of Broadway, even with the commission action on Lane Field and the cruise ship terminal. that's what their position was, and we thought, okay, it might be square rather than oval,
So staff would be happy with a square.
as I had said before.
Okay, no, I'm trying to like figure out how we could get stuff done here and not truly go back, but
It's the size and the function and the
Got
fact
it.
that it is different than...
because this sure feels like two organizations grappling for the same steering wheel here. Yet at the end, we own the votes, so and we do decide. And I know the city and Port is cognizant of that. So can I have a Port or representative, somebody who could talk about squaring the circle here?
Do that, sir.
Right.
I'm John Helmer. I'm the Port's planning director.
Great. I think you've heard at least my concern of some other commissioners and the staff. Is there some place or flexibility? Do you think the Port could find some more square footage here, or are you fixed that we are now voting on the exact proposal in front of you, and I have to judge that as is?
Commissioner Blank, commissioners, we provided staff with an estimate of what the oval-shaped plaza might be, because it's not dimensioned nor is it sized in the...
But there were great concrete pictures of what it looked like.
That's right.
It looks nothing like...
It does not.
Right.
And
oh, maybe it just got bigger.
we estimate to be approximately 180,000 square feet.
Okay.
Plus with a road through the middle of it, because West Broadway would have had to have continued to provide access to the Broadway pier. When we were before you last January for the Lane Field project, and the commission approved de novo CDP at that time, the design of the Lane Field project, in fact, increased the setbacks, and there's a broad sloping plaza.
I'm sorry. The question I was asking specifically is, can you see here if there's any additional park you could provide today, or would perhaps the applicant want to consider continuing this and with some discussions with staff?
Sean Sumner can address this.
That would be great. If with indulgence from fellow commissioners, maybe we could come to a place where we would all feel comfortable, both staff and commissioners, rather than full-out denial here today, which might be possible.
Thank you again, Dr. Kenny. Sean Sumner with the Port. One of the exhibits that we provided in an earlier discussion with Commission staff was a quantitative analysis, and we didn't show that here today, and that quantitative analysis relied on other projects like Lane Field. A good point there would be that the setbacks in the Port Master Plan are 55 feet at Pacific Highway and 65 feet at Harbor Drive. When you approved that project, we widened them to 110 feet wide on Harbor Drive. So we added square footage in that project because we were making up for a total amount of square footage at the foot of Broadway. We provided that exhibit to staff, and it shows that there's about 180, I think this is it, 180,000 square feet of proposed public space, which includes plaza, and that includes Lane Field. What we have there now today is 33,000. The oval would have illustrated 166. So we think we have comprehensively planned it. We've imposed additional restrictions on the developer of Lane Field by taking away developable property and turning it into plaza. You'll find that the Port Master Plan just only requires 65 feet on Lane Field. We're at 110. So we think we've done that homework, and we think this public space is a good one.
All right. And so I'm just trying to understand, that's your best and final proposal for this evening. Is that, before I go back to staff, if you would consider that adequate? Director Douglas or
Yes, it's not a matter of quantitative difference.
Right, I don't think so either.
Comparisons, it's qualitative.
Right.
And what we're looking for is a park.
Right.
Not concrete, space, public space. And that's what they're not providing here.
Right.
Well, that just, if I could just respond really briefly, I mean, that just gets back to the heart of I think Sherilyn described it, the difference that we have is that the Park Plaza land use designation allows for either one. That's what's in the Certified Port Master Plan. And we're relying on the text that describes a plaza.
No, I understand that. I guess I'm just offering the